In this tutorial, we'll learn how to create datasets in BigQuery using both the user interface, UI, and SQL. I'm going to use BigQuery Sandbox so that you can easily follow along with me. You can find the link to this page in the description. I will assume you already have a Sandbox account. If you don't know how to create a Sandbox account, post a comment and I will create a tutorial. It's pretty easy, just follow the instructions. I'm going to log in with my account. I already have my project created, so under the selected project, you will find all the new datasets we create. To create a dataset using the user interface, do this. Click here. Click Create Dataset. After you click Create Dataset, this window will show up. Insert a dataset ID. The dataset ID must be unique for each project. The name can't be longer than 1024 characters. It can contain only letters, uppercase or lowercase, numbers, and underscores. Dataset names cannot contain spaces or special characters such as dash, and, at, or %. Set the location type. A region refers to a specific geographic location, like London. A multi-region encompasses a larger geographic area, such as the United States, which includes 2 or more regions. Multi-region locations can offer larger quotas compared to single regions. The location of a dataset can only be specified at the time of its creation. Once created, the dataset's location cannot be altered. All tables referenced in a query must be stored within datasets located in the same region. When copying a table, both the source and destination datasets must be in the same location. If needed, you can enable default table expiration. By default, it is disabled. Any new table created in this dataset will be automatically removed after a specified number of days. This feature is useful for temporary data that does not need to be retained. If you enable default table expiration, the number of days is required and must be an integer greater than or equal to 0. You can either select existing tags or create new ones. If you click Advanced Options, you can see more settings. As you can see, the default encryption is Google Managed Encryption Key. You can enable case-insensitive table names. By default, this is not enabled, which means the dataset and its table names are case-sensitive. Enable default collation. A collation specification determines how strings are sorted and compared in collation-supported operations. When a new table is created in the dataset, it inherits a default collation specification unless a specific collation is defined for a column. If you later remove or modify this collation specification using the alter schema statement, it will not affect the existing collation specifications in the dataset. To update an existing collation specification, you must alter the column that contains it. Default rounding mode. This specifies the default rounding mode for values written to any new numeric or big numeric columns or struct fields in the table. It does not impact existing fields. Storage billing model. This alters the storage billing model for the dataset. Set the storage_billing_model value to physical to use physical bytes when calculating storage charges, or to logical to use logical bytes. Logical is the default. The storage_billing_model option is only available for datasets updated after December 1, 2022. For datasets last updated before that date, the storage billing model is logical. When you change a dataset's billing model, it takes 24 hours for the change to take effect. Once you change a dataset's storage billing model, you must wait 14 days before making another change. Time travel window. This allows you to access data from any point within the time travel window. It's like creating a backup. Time travel lets you query data that was updated or deleted, restore a table or dataset that was deleted, or restore a table that expired. By default, it covers the past 7 days. The time travel window can be set for a minimum of 2 days and a maximum of 7 days, with 7 days as the default. This setting is applied at the dataset level, affecting all tables within that dataset. A longer time travel window is beneficial for recovering updated or deleted data, while a shorter window can reduce storage costs when using the physical storage billing model. However, these savings do not apply to the logical storage billing model. Click Create Dataset to create the dataset. Click the new dataset to review the dataset we just created. Now let's do the same thing, but with SQL. Start by adding the keyword create, because that's what we want to do. Then you would think you would type dataset, right? But no, you have to put schema. So why does Google call this dataset and not schema? It doesn't make any sense. Then you can put if not exists. If the dataset already exists, nothing will happen, it will not generate any errors. But if you don't specify if not exists, it will generate an error if the dataset already exists. If not exists is not mandatory. In BigQuery, you can escape dataset names, project names, etc., by using the backtick character. Although I can specify the project name, this is not mandatory. So you have to specify the location where the dataset is created, then the dataset name. But I will just use the dataset name without the project name, because as I said, the project name is not mandatory. As I said earlier, the dataset name cannot contain spaces or special characters such as dash, and, at, or %. Then you can specify the default collation. At the end, you can add the options. These are the same values we talked about in the UI. In the official documentation, you can find more. For the table expiration date, we are not limited to integer values. I can insert a float number, allowing me to set the expiration date to 1 hour. Unlike the UI, I can add a description here. Remember, if you remove the if not exists and the table exists, it will generate an error. Otherwise, it will run with no errors. In the next videos, I'm going to show you how to update parts of the dataset that can be updated, how to undelete a table, and more. Consider subscribing to my channel, and if there is something you didn't understand, leave me a comment.